Okay, this is a little more involved challenge, so we're going to start in just...
Test out, everything works. Okay.
a few parts. The first thing I want you to do is to create a function that takes two card objects as parameters, and maybe you can see where this is going since we have card objects that we're dealing with here. You can call them card 1 and card 2, and those objects have a value property, which can be any one of these strings that I put here. The lowest is the 2, the highest is the ace, and the job of your function is to determine which of those two card objects has the higher value. There's a few different ways that you could do this. Just like any algorithm challenge, there's likely a few different ways that you could solve this in a reasonable way. The way that I end up doing it is not necessarily the right or the best way, but it's just the way that I've chosen. If you've ever done any like Code Wars challenges or anything like that, this is kind of a similar thing to what you would find there. I'm hoping that this will kind of round out our experience a bit. We spent some time in JavaScript manipulating the DOM, we spent some time in CSS altering our styles, and now we're going to be doing a little bit more of the algorithm side of things. I really think these challenges are fun, and I would highly encourage you to give this your all. Try everything you can to accomplish this without just skipping ahead and watching me do it. So pause the screencast here and try out this challenge.
Also create a function that takes two card object as parameters. Card 1, card 2, this card object have a property called value. Create a function that takes two card objects. Two card objects. So let's do a function. Let's call this compare cards. Okay, so we take card 1 and then card 2. And what we need to do, this card object have a property called value. Property called value. What? Where's my run preview? Missing CW0. What is this? This is lagging. Oh, see daisy. So let's do function compare cards. And so we take in card 1. What? Let me try it again. What happened to Scrimbas? I believe it is 2. Okay. Okay, it's good now. It's good, it's good. So compare two cards. This two card object have a property called value, which can be any one of the following string in the order of rising score. Score. Does it log to the console? I want to console.log the data. And this one I also want to see it. Right. Okay, shuffle, draw. So card one, you don't want to input into card ones. So card code 3D, 3 diamonds, jack, queen. 2 is the lowest and ace is the highest. The function should determine which of the two card 1 and card 2 has a higher score. Conditional object. Let's say data.card.image. Whenever the draw card is clicked. Okay. I don't want to assign it into anything because it is going to be in here. Compare card. Let score equal. Score is going to be score 1 and score 2. Say score 1. Put it right in here. Children. Take two card objects. Two card objects. Score 1 is going to be equal to cards, equal to data dot cards, cards, no, data value. So here's one success. Go into here, cards, code, image. Then there is another object. Close. So value. What's the array? See this, so we have this open bracket. So we have the access card. Then we access to our 0 dot Hey. Zero dot cut dot value and data dot cards dot one. Let's do console.log score one, console.log score two. We want to call this compare cards. Let's just try it first. Compare cards like right down here. Data is not defined. Maybe it's out on the outer scope. Not too sure how we do this, but list of array, so it's going to be score. Right. Cut one and cut two. But this within a function so we can access it out. Okay. The function to determine which of the two cards has a higher score. Let's score array. Let's score 1 equals 0. Let's score 1 equal empty. And then let's score 2 equal, empty, empty. Okay, score array. 2 is the lowest score and ace is the highest. The function should determine which of the two cards has the highest score, or if they have the same score. Score array, so we have score array. Create a function that takes two card objects. This card object have a property that called value. This two card object. One. I want to compare two of this. So how do I do this? Let's do 1 to king first. 1 to 10. So if number 1. So we draw this. That score 1 is equal to data dot cut open 0 dot it's going to be value, right? Value is going to be 4. Let me JSON. Where's it? JSON something. Let's make this so that it's easier to look. So we have this. So here's the array. Break down this array. There's 2. There's cards. Cards go into the first. Then we have image. Here there's so much stuff. Okay, so basically this is how it looks. Go into cards. Then we need to code this code image. What we need to do is go to value. Go to value right here. Okay, so data dot cut. Then we do 1 dot value. Console.log this. Score 1. Console.log score 2. Syntax error. What? Alright, let's delete this. Here. Okay, 2 and 5. So now it's taking these 2 parameters. Now you want the score 1 to take into card 1s. Okay. Run this function, compare cards with a value of score 1 and score 2. Let's go array. If card 1 larger than card 2, if card 1 card 1 larger than card 2, then it is a console.log card player 1 win, and else if. Okay, do this. Then it's a tie. It is a tie. Okay, and then else. Console.log, player 2 wins. So let's do this. Let's try this. And then else is a tie. And then player 1, player 2 win. Run, compare cards, new deck, draw, player 1 win. I haven't do the king, so value is jack or king. Why is it player 1 win? Let's draw it again, so let's make it 10. Okay, so 9, 7. Okay, 8 and 3. Let's do like a 4. Player 1 wins, so 5. And queen. How is it? I want the king. The ace is largest. So the ace. How to create a conditional array. Then we do like a function like king. King is going to be larger than this but smaller than this. So let's do, this is conditional, but I wanted also to take in the jack, queen and king and ace. So how do we do it? I think we're going to brute force it. Let's do ace larger than 2, but also larger than kings. So that if it draw a 2, it knows. But then if it draw a 3, the ace is also going to be, yeah. How about we convert all of them into 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. How about that? But it works. So I wanted to first take into consideration if card 1 or card 2 equal to jack, and score 1. Okay. Okay, so I think I'm going to put it right here. Right, so if score 1 equal to king, Right, let's first go down here, 10, and how does it player 2 wins? Restart. Player 2 wins. Player 1 wins. How does it know it's ace? Player 1 wins. Okay. Player 2 wins. Okay. 8 larger than 4. I wanted to go into. Let's try this. Try this. Cut it out. Let's say 0. Draw. Why is it player 2 wins? It's a tie. Okay. Try player 1 win. King and jack. So the score 1. Let score 1 is equal to the value. And then we want to run a function in which console.log if score 1, gonna run a function if score 1 equal to king to jack, so it's all going to be capital letters. So take into this score 1, let brute force it equal to so 10, 11. Then we'll do the same thing here. If score 1 equal to queen, then it's 12. I don't want it to check after each time, right? I don't want it to run this. Oh, if it is, then it's run here. Oh, it's not. Maybe that is a better way. Else if score 1 or score 2, let's do or it's going to be if score 1 or is or in JavaScript is going to be this, boom boom, score 2, yeah, let's just run, let's brute force this code. So score 1 equal to 11. Else if score 1 equal queen should be all capital letters, queen, then score 1 is equal to 12. do the same things. King 13, and then else F score 1 equal to ace is going to be 14. Ace 14. Right, so now we also want to do a brute force this and trying to make it score 2. Okay. Now I want to cannot read property 0. Cannot read property 0. Why is it cannot read it? Okay, draw 2 cards. Player 1 wins. Okay, because I haven't drawn new deck, that's why it's not working. Player 1 wins. Just run 7 and 2. Player 1 win. Works. Player 2 win 9 and 5. Player 2 win 8 and 6. Player 2 win 5 and 4. 7 and 2. I wanted to go into 14. Oh, it's a string right now, so it's a numbers. I want it to be a string, right? Because here is value. This is boom, 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 boom. Brute force. Okay, new deck. Okay, 12 and 7. But player 1 wins. There's a problem. 12 and 7 should be player 2 wins, right? Player 1 win. If card 1 larger than card 2. If card 1 smaller than card 2. Yes. How is it player 1 win here? So let's put 7, 12, 7 smaller than 12. Here's reading 7, 12, small, larger. Two win. How is it 2 win? How is it player 2 win? So 12. Let's just all remove this. And let's see. New deck. Play 2 win. 7, 12. 1 win. 13, 2. 1 win. 1 win. How's it 1 win? 3 and 10. 3 and 10. 3 and 10. How's it play a 2 win now? What? One win. One also win. 1 win. 2 win. 1 win. 1 win. I think it's just a lag. 6, 2, 10, 5. Why is it player 1 win? If so, it's taking 10. Is it because it's 10? There's no way 10 is larger than 5. 1, 1. 2, 2, 2. It's a tie, okay. 4, 3, 1, okay. 1, 1, 1. I think it's run out of the deck. Okay, so let's see the solution.
And we'll make this.
Let's put here like a. That's my code. So let's put this condition into a function. Alright, then we call the function. This function is going to take in. No, I don't think we call a function. Right, return score 1, score 2. Maybe actually, you know what? Return score 1, score 2. Write a function for this, and then it's going to return you score 1, score 2, and then it's going to go into this parameters of these 2 cards. Might works. So let's do function. Function. Call this. Let's not do compare cards. Result. So function compare cards. It's going to take into. So we do a let. No, but that is not, cannot be accessed into here. It cannot access there. Can it? Not too sure. Let's try it. Let's copy all of it. Put it here. Okay. And then we return score 1. Score 2. Okay, now we do compare cards. New deck. Data. See. Got it. Boom. Boom. Score 1 is not defined. So yeah, I don't think it's it. So 10 score 1. Just brute force this here, and then let's see what happens.
Score. is maybe put these items into an array. Now I know which of these is higher and which is lower because I know that a 2 in cards is lower than an ace, but the computer won't know that intuitively, and I can't just assume that it's a number because we get into these strings with letters in them like jack, queen, king, and ace. When I first built this, what I ended up doing was making a card values sort of dictionary, an object where I said a 2 is worth a 2, a 3 is worth a 3, and so forth. But then I said that a jack, well, I had a 10 is worth a 10, so there's a break in here with all the other numbers. But then I said a jack is worth an 11, a queen.
Yeah, that's how I
12,
brute force
a
it.
king is worth 13, and an ace is worth 14. And then what I did is used this card values dictionary, kind of like a lookup table, and I said, well, if card1.value, and I said, well, get me card values at the key of card1.value. So it would be card values square brackets card1.value, and then card1.value would evaluate to something like maybe it was a queen, and then that would use this dictionary to get card values at the key of queen, kind of similar to saying card values dot queen since it's an object. And then that would get me a value of 12, and I'd be able to compare that to card 2's value. However, this time around, I think what I might do is instead put all of these values into an array. Let me try this. Yeah, I'll do it below the challenge. So we're going to say we have a function called
So mine works, but it's definitely not optimized.
card
So let's see. Let's see what is the actual solution.
Say we've got value options as an array, and then I'll just paste in my values there, get rid of this extra star. And just so this isn't too wide, I'll break this onto its own line here. What's nice about this is what I can do now is I can actually just look up the index number of this array, and the index number is going to tell me if it's further to the left or further to the right in the array, or if the two cards happen to be.
So we use like dot length?
Exactly the same.
No, not dot length, but the index. Let's run through an index. So you use the position in the index and in the array, and then compare each other's. So might be good.
I mean, they both are 5s or they're both queens, whatever. Then they will be at the same index in the array, and I'll know that they're the same card. Now, even a task like this has a couple different ways I could do it. I think probably the most straightforward is to say card1 value index is value options dot index of, and then I'm going to put card1.value. Card1.value will evaluate to, over here you can see there's a 7 and a jack. It might evaluate to a 7, and then what index of will do is it'll start looping over the array for me and look for the 7, and then it'll give me the index number of that option. I have a predetermined number of options available with my cards, and there's no duplicates here, so I don't have to worry about it being confused in that way. And then I should just be able to do the same thing for card 2. And oops, I need to change this back to card1.value and card2.value. And then I should console log card1 value index and card2 value index. And
okay, got it. So it's basically 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So index of card1 dot value. So let's say you draw a card 1. Let's go shove it from here into here. And then let's say you draw a 2. Okay, so value option dot index of card1 dot value. So it's card1 is going to be, let's say, 7, like you say. So it's going to be 7, but the index of this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's at 5. So the whole thing here is equal to 5. the whole thing here might be like an 8, so it's equal to 6. So we compare this to value. Oh, makes sense.
A string to kind of prefix it.
Makes sense.
So card1. Okay, I need a way to call this function because I don't have a test. I guess I could make some test objects here. Maybe I'll just do that to keep it simple. So we'll say determine card winner, and I'm going to call this with, let's do card1 object. I could just call this card1, but I didn't want it to be confusing when I actually put it in there. The difference between this card1
we can use index off. So index off. Return the first index at which a given element can be found in an array, or -1 if it's not present. Index of bison, so 0, 1. Okay, it makes sense. It's actually
now there's
OP.
a bunch of other things that come from the API other than just the value, but we'll just give it a value to start. Let's have one of them be a 7, and we'll duplicate this, have this be card2 object, and we'll make this, let's say a 10. No, let's say king. And then let's call my function with card1 object and card2 object. Right now, all it's going to do is
Make a lot of sense.
indices at which it found it, and we'll double check to make sure that's right. I probably should have just chosen the values of 2 and 3 so that we could see the indices were 0 and 1, but I don't know, I guess we'll figure it out. And since this is just a test, I don't think I'll need to click any buttons. I should just be able to refresh and check my console. And awesome. Okay, card1 says index of 5. We've got 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's right. And then 11. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 is where king is. Awesome. So essentially we've taken these string values, turned them into a number that can tell us which one is higher and which one's lower. Admittedly, this was the most difficult part of this challenge. If you struggled to get to this point, then that's okay. This is kind of algorithmic thinking. If you haven't practiced this much, then it can be a difficult thing to do. This is why practice makes perfect. You should get as much hands-on practice with algorithm challenges like this as you can. Because although they're kind of silly and contrived in many scenarios, they do actually pop up in the real world. If you weren't able to make it quite to this point, what I would like you to do now is sort of, having split this into a second part, we've finished the first part of it. Now that we have the indices, go ahead, pause here, and try to log which of the cards has a higher value, or if it's a tie. This one should just be kind of a basic, straightforward if-else statement, and shouldn't be too difficult for you at this point.
If card value index is it going to be here? So we want value to be here. Want the value to be okay, so just an if else if card1 value index, if card1 value index larger than card2 value index.
Pause.
Yeah, let's just move on. Now I want it to work. So how do we do this? So we put it here, I'm assuming, because we are drawing this. We want to run this. Data dot cards 0 dot values. Is it value or values? Try it. Card1 object is not defined. Let's not run this. I just want console.log card1 object and card2 object. Doop. Console.log. So we do data. Value 6. Dun, 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 dun. Console.log card object 1, card 1 object, value is 4. Okay, so we put it, we run the function here. I'll run this function and do card 1 object and card 2 object. What do you mean it's missing 0? So if card 1 index value larger than card 2, then we want to console.log player 1 wins, right? Player 1 wins. Boom. Less than. Then we want this. Player 2 wins. Let's try it. And then else. Draw. Okay, player 1 wins. Player 1. Player 1. Player 1 is insane. Player 2 wins. Player 2 was, oh, player 1 ace. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1. That's pretty much it. This technically is a tie. It is a tie. I want to draw it so that it's not going to. It's a tie. There we go. How random that is. How random that is.
Well, I've got the indices, and I should just be able to say if card 1 value index is greater than card 2 value index, then console log card 1 wins, and I can run card 2 win and a queen, card 2 winner. So let's go ahead and work on that now. So we've got a majority of the logic for our determine card winner function, but right now it's just console logging, card 1 wins, card 2 wins, or it's a tie. Of course, this is the game of war, so I probably should just say war or it's a war or something like that. So the logic for this function is done, but let's go ahead and apply it to the code where we get our 2 cards. So what you will do in this challenge is to first of all, modify this function so that it actually returns something instead of just console logging something. This shouldn't be too difficult. I think honestly you could just return the string so that the determine card winner function returns a string, and then you'll use that string when you call the function to display it on the browser. I would create a little placeholder for it over here, just put like an H2 probably above the cards but below the button, and when the winner is determined you're going to put either computer wins, you win, or war. I hope that makes sense. There's a couple things that I'm leaving it up to you to figure out how to do. Pause here and work on this challenge.
Alright, right. So let's do like an H3 and we slash H3. What we do is an ID and then we do result text. It's not going to be announcement. Right, code here, and we do one value index. Try to determine which of the two cards the winners has higher value. Ace are the card with the highest value. Instead of logging the winner into the console, trying to determine which of the two cards is the winner. Okay. Part 2, instead of logging out the winner to the console, display an H2 on the screen above the cards. Now declare who's the winners. Alright. So return template string. What if we do document.getElementID, getElementID, announcement, text content is equal to computer wins. Such a shame that computer wins. So announcement, text content, you win. Okay. Draw wall. Okay. Okay, so now I need the keep this test case for reference, but should delete later. So pretty much that we did this. You win. You win. You win. Oh, it's always a queen. That's why. Jack and a queen. I want to put it right here. Right here, the buccaneer. Okay, so we do data dot 0 and dot value. Data.cut.value cuts. So we got 1. And then we want to determine winners by here. Okay, draw new cards. You win. So this is you and this machine. You win again. You win again. There's some more. That's computer. Okay, basically we got it. Boom.
Like I said, instead of console logging, going to get rid of, maybe you wanted it to value, and we can use maybe the winner text is equal to determine card winner, and now we pass the actual 2 cards that we got. So I think it was data.cards at the index of 0 and data.cards at the index of 1. Let's go ahead and console log the winner text just to make sure that that's working. I'll click new deck. Oh, and you know what? I think I removed the console log from the new deck. Yeah, I don't love that, because right now I do have to click new deck at the beginning of every game. Anytime I refresh this, I would like to confirm that I actually got this. Let's just console log the deck ID. I'll click new deck. Okay, that way we at least get a little yep, that's correct. Let's draw again just to kind of check this. Card 1, yeah, we got a 9 and a 7. That's card 1. 4 and 2, card 2 wins. I want to draw this until we get war. Let's see if we can get a war. There we go, war. Awesome. If you struggled to get to this point, then I want you to pause and try to complete the rest of this challenge, which is to
just
take this
return
winner
card
text
1 wins
and
or
to
card
place
2
it on the
wins.
DOM above the 2 cards right here. Well, now that we
Okay.
have the winner text, we should be able to just access a DOM element, which I need to create. So we'll create a new H2, and let's give
And
it
then
an
we
ID
just
so
put-
we can easily select it. Let's say, I don't know, I think this will be the main header. I might just say header. I thought about saying winner text, but honestly, I think I want to have something here when the game starts. Maybe like Game of War, so that actually displays on the screen right from the beginning. And then it won't bump the cards down. You see the cards got bumped down when we added Game of War. I'll probably try to fix some of the spacing, but anyway, this way we have a placeholder already. So I'll just call this header. It's okay if you didn't do it this way. It's totally fine. And then we'll say
Game of War.
get element by ID header. And you know what? We actually have started moving those into their own variables. Let's go make a header here. And we'll save it as its own variable called header. And then I can just say header dot. I'm just changing the text content of this one, and we'll change it to whatever the winner text is. Let's hit save, get a new deck, and draw. Card 1 wins. Awesome. Cool. This is working great. Now, I don't love the black on the green. Let's go ahead. Okay, that's great. We'll just do that. And that way, any other text that we end up putting here will be white automatically. And we have the base that next. And then eventually we're also going to be displaying kind of a score. Every time I win, I'll add. I know this isn't really how war works, but for simplicity, we're just going to keep it simple like that. But like I said, first, let's display.
We might create the Pokemon games, right? So in Pokemon, there's like elements. I was talking about this. And then we just do like basically the same thing as this, but make it a little bit more fun. So yeah, I will try and do it today.
Display the number of remaining cards. There's a couple bugs
If that's possible.
in our program right now, and displaying the number of cards will help the user experience regarding one of those bugs.
Okay.
Okay, so this challenge I'm giving to you right from the beginning, it's kind of a full-fledged challenge. You're going to be interacting with the DOM, dealing with the data that comes back. It's going to be good practice. You'll get some CSS practice in there as well. Now, make sure to read the hint that I've given you. The data that comes back from the API has something very helpful in it when it comes to displaying the number of remaining cards. Because this is a kind of end-to-end challenge, in other words, I'm giving you a new feature to add and you're going to add the entire feature end-to-end, this may take you some extra time, and that's completely okay. It's not necessarily a super difficult challenge, but it does touch all the moving parts of our app. But if you've been following along and doing the practices, I know that this is something you can do. Pause here and work on this new feature.
Okay, so we need to display the number of cards remaining on the deck. On the deck. Okay. I also want to console.log data. Console.log data. Okay, let's draw. Boom. Okay. Remaining 50. So we basically just need to access this, put it onto our DOM, and we are good. So we want a const text content header const remaining equal document get element by ID remaining cards. Right, where what I want to put you want to put it right next to our next deck. So let's do a div slash div, put it right in here. Okay, now we do a P, maybe an H3. That is going to take into consideration that we're going to put our remaining card. Okay. This is ID. Let's call this new deck. Let's do a class for it. So new deck. I just put something so that I know remaining cards. Why can't I see it? Okay, so remaining cards right here. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Right, align item. Item baseline. No, doesn't work. Why is it like this? Right. Justified content. Space between. Does it work? Nope. Nope. So let's just keep it like that. So we don't want it to touch. Where's my remaining card? Right there. New deck. Oh, I can align it so that it's going to remaining cards. It's going to be aligned self. Flex start. Maybe a font size, a smaller font size, so it is going to be FS 12 pixel, maybe 14, be good. Okay, so we do this. I know, now it is there. So what we need to do is basically get the cont. Let's just put it right down here so that we can. Remaining cards equal to data dot console.log data, so I can see what is inside this again. Okay. So remaining, we don't want it to go into cards. We basically just want to go into remaining. remaining. Okay, console.log. Remaining cards. Boom, 50. Draw again. Boom, 48. So yeah, remaining text content equal to let's do this. Remaining cards can we do that? Not too sure. Control if I do this. Nope. Nope. So I can do a template string. Let's do remaining cards, commas, this, and then remaining cards. Right? Let's do boom. Okay. 48, 46. There we go. Pretty easy.
Remaining 50. Remembering. In fact, let me just narrow this down a little bit. Instead of getting all the data, we'll say data dot remaining. Run this again. New deck. And now we get just the display. So the element is something. And refresh. Yeah, it's going to bump everything down, and it's not going to sit in line with what I have here. I'm pretty sure even if I made my paragraph display inline instead of the default of display block, because the body is a flex container, it's going to essentially put it down in this column anyway. So simply changing my paragraph to display inline probably isn't going to solve the problem. However, what I can do is just surround both of these with a div. So I'll put both my button and my paragraph inside the div. And we won't see a fix quite yet, but what that'll do is make it so that this is the first flex item, and then this is the second flex item, third flex item, fourth flex item, and so forth. We're not going to see a fix quite yet because the paragraph is still a block level element. So let me hit refresh, and yeah, we are still seeing these separately, but now, according to the flex box, this whole section on the top is one item. Let me give this div a class. We'll call it class of top so that I can go select it in my CSS. And I don't know, maybe I could make this paragraph display inline now, but I'm leaning these days toward using Flexbox when I can. So I think what I'll do is make this entire div, or this smaller div, its own flex container. So let's go into our CSS, and we'll say the div with the class of top will be display flex. And well, let's just see where that gets us to start. Okay, so they're inline there. It doesn't really look like it because this is sitting near the bottom. I think that's probably because of some default margin on the top here.
Default margin.
So
Forgot
let's go
about that.
div top and then select the paragraph in there. We'll say
Idiot. I'm such an
we don't
idiot.
get any margin except for maybe on the left, just to is until we have a deck in hand and the number of remaining. I believe I can move kind of the retain.
Basically, this is the part that we just saw.
Look at that. If you look at
So
that
let's just
object, they're
skip it.
actually cards. Right.
Just skim through it. Display remaining card on the new deck.
Okay, last time what we did is we made it so that when we click the draw button, after we get a new deck, of course, we hit draw and it displays the number of remaining cards we have. However, we probably should be able to see the 52 number as soon as we click new deck so that we at least have some kind of visual, I guess, notification on the screen that shows that the new deck button actually did something. So this should be a fairly straightforward challenge. I've written it out here. You're just going to display the number of remaining cards as soon as we request a new deck. Pause here and give this challenge a try.
Oh. Easy. So what we basically need to do is we handle click event. Alright, so new deck. Why is it like this? Draw new card, function determine card. Bum, 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 bum. So we want handle click, new deck, BTN. Display the number of remaining card when we request a new deck. Oh, so I just need here. Right. Instead of checking for the deck ID, we just put it right here. Or maybe we can put it here. Const remaining. Equal to remaining text dot in there. Yeah, remaining text dot text content. Huh?
Chụp để làm bảo hiểm cho bác. Ôi, cái thẻ xanh cái trước của thằng Bách xong mình mẹ dữ rồi. Không ra. Bằng lái nữa. Bằng lái kia. Chụp.
So we do text content, and then we do a remaining cuts, commas, this. Yeah, going to be data dot remaining. Data is not defined. There we go. Pretty easy.
So here and down here, I can actually just keep it exactly the same way, data.remaining. Let us push forward, standing this.
Okay.
Currently, when we click draw enough times and our remaining cards go down to 0, let's give this a second to run, we still have the option to click draw, even though we have no more cards in our deck. Really, what should happen is when we run out of cards, we should essentially end the game. Eventually, we're going to keep score as to whether you or the computer won more hands. But for now, let's make it so the draw button is not clickable. The challenge is written over here. You need to disable the draw button. One thing to think about is that you need to both disable the functionality of the button and just make it look like it's disabled in the styling. This might require you to do a little bit of Google searching if you need to, or if you're not familiar with how to make a button disabled or how to style it when it is disabled, but that's okay. That's kind of a majority of web development anyway. So this will be good practice.
Okay, disable both the functionality of the buttons. So if do a click, so draw card buttons. Equals 0, then we want it to be we want to add a class. We want to add disable both functionality of the buttons and change disable it to true on the buttons. Is disable equal true. So we want it to be is disabled. Let is disabled equal to false. So if the remaining equal to 0, then is the disable equal to true. And when at true, we also want to add a class, draw buttons, draw card btn dot add class. Oh, we can do style. Classlist.add okay, disable. Then now we go into here, we do dot disable. It's going to be color. We also want to add disable. Add disable it. What happened to my Chrome? Chrome is add disabled attribute. Boom. Maybe that is the set attribute to disable. So function set attribute disable. And I also want to add class list dot add disable. Boom 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 bum 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 bum. Okay, I wanted the color to be background colors gray. then the color to light gray. Light gray. Let's see if that works. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, ready? So it's disabled, but it's still kind of clickable. Maybe I want to put it here so that maybe here. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, cannot click anymore. That's good. That's also disabled.
And work on this challenge. On element is actually disabled already, and I can click it, but it's actually not doing anything. Remember, before I was getting an error because I hadn't clicked new deck, or even if I do click new deck, I can't hit draw. It also looks like there's some default styling applied here where it kind of graded out a little bit. So that's a bonus. I think my preference is...
Maybe, because since we are doing this, let disable. If it is not equal to 0, then it remove. Can I do remove attribute? Yeah, basically the same things. So if it's not equal to 0, then else. If it's not equal to 0, data remaining equal to 0, then this draw card add attribute is disabled. Right. I wanted to disable it at the beginning. So disable. Don't want the user to click it. So then we click here. Okay, so if they click new deck, then we can run it, right? Then we can run it. We want to, what is it? Buttons. Draw card button, remove attribute, dot remove attribute is going to be disabled to do something like this. Remove attribute. So there's only just this. Click. Now it works. Okay, I want to add attribute. Also, I want to add class. Draw cat dot item class list dot add. It's going to be disable. Right, that's good. Class list dot add. Why does it change to this disabled? Draw card, add attribute. Since it's already is remove, and at 0 we want to gray out. We want to gray out. Okay, not too bad.
Not have this stand that indicates we can click it. So let's remove disabled from here and simply add it in our JavaScript through regular DOM manipulation. Then save, and there we go. Okay, I didn't have to click anything else, but as soon as my remaining cards got to 0, then our draw button became disabled. The only other thing that I would probably do, and this is, I guess, a point of preference, but I would say that anytime a button has a disabled property, or rather whenever it is disabled, we have access to this pseudo class for disabled. And I guess since the disabled property, when we added it in JavaScript, already grayed out the text there, the only other thing I might do is change my cursor to, I think it's called not allowed. It's obvious that you're not allowed. And you did that, and that is keeping score for
not too bad.
The most rounds, and then eventually
I like
showing
this section.
at the top who kind of won the overall game. So let's
the
tackle that
winners.
next.
Okie dokie.
This challenge represents pretty much a whole new feature that we're adding to the game. Your task is to keep score. Every time the computer wins a hand, which is card 1 here at the top, you'll give the computer a point, and every time you win a hand, which is the card at the bottom, you'll give yourself a point. Go ahead, read the challenge here, pause the screencast, and add this new feature to our game.
So keep score every time the computer wins. Add a point to the computer score. Do the same for every time you win a hand. If it is war, no points are awarded to either players. If it is war, same card value, no one is awarded a point. Okay, display the computer score above the top cards. Okay, so we do card slot. Then we do P. We do ID. Computer score. Then we do here, we do your score. Okay, computer. Let's hard code it for now so that we can see what's happening. It's easier for styling as well. So my score, you. Okay, so we have this. Pretty good. So now what we need to do is score if card 1 larger than card 2. I want it to be add to the global score inside determine card winner below. Global score. Display the computer score above the top cards. Give me a moment. Okay, so we go here, and then what we need to do is keep track of score. So let the score equal to empty, and let your score empty. Yeah, let's do this. What we need to do next is set if card 1, then comp score plus equal to, let's say equal to 0 now. 0. Card 1. Your score plus. Try it. Cannot beat undefined. Score systems. Try this. Whoa. What? Redo. What the hell is this? So what we need to do is display the text. Return card 1 win. Where's the disable not working? Let's just save this, refresh, maybe it lags. Disable card 1 wins. You card 1 children 0. Okay, that's why. So we want it to be children would be 1, and then would be 3, right? Okay, let's see. Boom. 3, 1, 2, So 2 and 3. Children 0, 1 and 2. I mean 1 and 2. So we do new deck, draw. Okay, now let's go into there. What we need to do is a score. So no, I'm actually the most stupid person you have ever known. No, actually I'm okay. I would say I'm not super smart. There's so many people smarter than me. Comps score equal to let's do empty. Let's do 1 for now. Let's hard code it. So human score equal to 0. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Alan. Too much discipline? Well, nah. Pretty lazy, but I like to solve problem. Like sometimes I make my life easier by just being lazy. Well, I guess because I just code something and then it helped me do a bunch of things in which it well, lazy in a different way. Well. Thank you. Much appreciated. Appreciate that. So let's do... Can I do com? Score plus plus. And then I want to display the score. And let's do... return. Yeah, I love exercising. Haven't got any pump yet. Well, I used to really love exercising. Then went back to Vietnam. It's... how can I say it? That busy working. Then I somewhat exercise. Don't go to the gym. Gym is nice. I'm planning to sign up to a gym over here. But then my school also have a gym, so let's wait for the school and then we can sign up for a gym if they don't have a gym there. If I cannot go into the gym at school. But gym is nice. Gym is nice. So let's do com score plus plus. What if I do an empty? Com score plus plus. Okay. Document.get element by ID. And then we do text content equal to this. And then we just copy this. Boop. Throw it right there. Delete this. want to test out if our score is working. Okay, new deck, draw. Got 2 wins, equals 0. Try and run this, new deck, draw, computer 1. Computer is not. Computer 2. Okay. Pretty easy. Easy peasy. Okay, let's do human. Human score equal to 0. Human. Let's do you. Make it sound less intimidating. It's like a competition between human and computers. So let's do human score. Right. I want to delete this. Should I delete this or should I keep this computer? Maybe here and then human here. Or maybe you. You. Okay, run. Let's do this. Computer 1. Let's do 0, 0 to start. What does it mean? Save this, run this. Wait, what is my thingy? Okay, let's restart. Let's go back to here. Run, new deck, draw, 1. Why is it you now? Oh yeah, human score. Hey. Text content. Your score. Your score. Run. New deck. Okay, 1. 1. 2, 2, 2, 2. 3. 4, 5, 6. Okay, it works. Let's try and run all of the cards and let's see. Yeah, at 0 there's nothing you can do. So basically you lose. Track the score in the global. Also doing a Scrimba course. Your programming style is more about playing what you're going to do than doing it, or is it more about doing it with practice and errors? Well, I'm more of a brute force guy. I would hard code and then brute forces 2 through, and if it works, it works. If it not, sometimes I plan it first, but then a lot of the time you will run into problem that you haven't planned for. So in order to plan it, yeah, you can plan it to a certain point, and then you just run into problem that you haven't plan through, and then yeah, it is at that moment it's just practice and error, just brute forces through, and hopefully it works. Most of the time it works if you brute forces enough. Sometimes it's just computer that lags, and then it gives you something else that you were not expected to. Yeah.
Okay, I think the first.
I would say I plan like 50% and then practice an area 50%. So yeah, that's how I guess my style is like that.
First thing I might do is give myself a place to put this. Right now there's nothing there, so above our cards, I'll put my first H3. Computer score is 0, and then I'll duplicate that and put my score down there. And well, it looks pixels to maybe get something like 20 pixels, 10 pixels. Computer score, and I'm gonna say that to be each card. So items and my score when that player wins. So
I feel like Scrimba is a little bit laggy right now. Not too sure what happened.
We'll say text content equals computer score is, and then we'll put a my2, hit draw, and looks like the computer won and got an extra point added. My score did not increment by 1. Let's play. Okay, this time I won, and my score was leading actually from this is it's going to add to our game is actually I guess more of a button.
Yeah, I would say at the beginning I would analyze like, hey, there's buttons, there's like this, it's going to do this, and then yeah, a lot of things here, like you win this stuff is easy. You want it to be center line, stuff like that. You're basically like visualizing it, but then you're going to run into problem where it's like just like the example where you need to do the value option, but then I just converted to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then the jack will be 11, queen will be 12. Just brute force it through, and it works. But is it the optimal way? No, but it still works. So at my level, I don't think. Yeah, I have to be thinking about how it can be, how it can scale, how it will run. But the most important things at the moment is just to make it work.
Bug fix. We're going to make it so when the game is completely over, we display the winner of the entire game, not just the most recent hand up here at the top. But that sounds like a challenge for another screencast, so let's do that next. Okay, this time I'm not giving you a whole lot of direction. Your challenge is to display the final winner of the game after everything is over, or rather after all the cards are played and there's 0 cards remaining. Display the final winner at the top in place of this H2. Right now it's kind of doubled up as this title for Game of War. It also displays who the, oh, let me get a new deck, displays who the winner of the hand was. So when the game is over and all the cards have been played, make it so that it displays who the final winner is, and maybe put some text that is differentiated from just computer wins or you win. Pause here and try out this final challenge.
So what we do, you don't want to win, right? You score. Just like soccer. Right, and after all of this, if final result. So I wanted to go into the data remaining. Do I go into data remaining? I know it has to be somewhere over here. Display the final winners in the header at the top by replacing text of H2. So winner text is equal to determine card winners is data.card1, card 2. So data.card1 meaning card1 computer score. Do they have like a past simple? You scored. You scored. You scored. War. Then when it count down to 44, if data that count down to 44, count down to 0, remaining card equal to 0, we want the header text content to be equal to display the final winners in the headers. Oh, we want to if doing solo project or also doing the stretch goal. That's a hard question. Solo project or stretch goal. This really depends on how you project. I don't know. This is I'm not like a recruiter, so for me, I would say doing solo project, but depends on how complex it is. If like it is just like a layout or something like that, I don't think it's good enough. Then you should do a stretch goal. But if like the solo project is good, it's nice, it functions well, then I think I'll choose solo project, because sometimes when you finish a project, you just want to like not look at it. So yeah, I would say for me, I prefer solo project. Wait, yeah, solo project. So let's do if computer score. Can I access to this? If computer score. Can we do like another if else statement? But then computer score larger than human score, my score. Then I'm assuming we had that text content, determine card winners equal to computers win. Right, just brute force us through. Okay, computer score. Computer score. And else if. That had the text content. You win. Why is it like this? Expected that. No. else if instead of else. Boom, 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 boom. Let's just go all the way through 0. You win. Alright, my score 18. Okay, I think that's good.
So we have remaining here that's an if and header is the text name. Header.text content. Oh, I'll just change this. You won the game. And I guess just hit draw until the game is
Forgot the tie game.
over. Closing in, and look at that. Yep, computer won the game. Score 14, my score 11.
Boom.
And there we have it. We have our game of war. We have all the features that we were planning on adding. It looks like we were able to work out most of the bugs. And you can even see here on the last hand, yes, we won the last hand, but our score didn't justify us winning the game. So it did end up saying the computer won the game. I suppose if you really want to split hairs, we have something here that's displaying the text content saying you won, and then we're immediately overriding that with, you know, one of these, like the computer won the game. So I suppose you could wrap some of this in like a if data.remaining is greater than 0, but I'm just not going to worry about it at this point. I really hope you were able to follow along with all these challenges and actually do them yourself. If you did, you should be really proud of yourself. Obviously, this is just a silly game, but if we take a step back and remember what this is representing, we are getting this data from an API. We're not just building this ourselves. We have these awesome card images that we get to display, and you could easily extend this game to be more like...
I think a good sort of project for now is we go on to Rapid API, not by Trail API, but Pokemon. Or like any cartoon that you like that is going to be like somewhat like Pokemon or like Yu-Gi-Oh or whatever the game that you want. So they have like a, not this, Pokemon Pokédex. I think that is the one. Subscribe. Get our Pokemon, get a specific Pokemon, get a random Pokemon, just Bulbasaur, doesn't matter, the name doesn't matter, you just want pictures. Alright, so you have the picture, nice and neat, but all I need is the type. So type is grass, and then it's going to counter water, something like that. That would be amazing.
A real game of war. In fact, the Deck of Cards API, if you've taken the time to go...
Counter grass, pretty much the same thing as here. We wanted to... Each class is going to counter each other's. Like fire, so 1. But then, yeah, then it's not going to be index, but it's more like 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. No, actually, it's quite hard. Actually, we need to look at the class.
Go to their API doc.
What is it? Value option. So fire going to be to lose to water, but water is going to lose to grass. Water is going to beat fires.
Documentation, they have a way to put cards into piles.
Let's see, let's do every element in Pokemon and its counter. Fire. So fire, water. So let's just do like fire, water, grass, electric, something like that, ice. dragon, fairy. Just that is like, it's hard enough, right? And then we add on, maybe we can add on later. Computer is lagging. Chrome is taking a little bit too much resource. Okay, going to hop off now.
To shuffle your deck, and you could get fancy and do a real game of war here. Like if it's a war, then you stack 3 more cards up and then check what the top one is, compare those two. You know, I think essentially that would mean you're not just drawing 2 cards, you're to APIs, and you hopefully really great job. And when you're ready, let's do a quick recap before we end this section.
Right. Let's do this. Boom, and that's it. What happened to my Chrome?
Before we finish up, I did promise that we would get a sneak peek at async await. And when I say a sneak peek, I really mean we're just going to see some of the features of async await. We're not going to go deep into async await because that would kind of be a whole course on its own. But there are some benefits that we can glean from using async await now. So what exactly are we talking about with async await? Well, they are both new keywords that were introduced in ECMAScript 2017, which is also known as ES8. And their whole purpose is to make asynchronous code appear in the code as if it were synchronous. And actually, it kind of makes asynchronous code act as if it were synchronous as well. The way that we use it is...
How many days you have studying the Scrimba course, or how many months? The course is about 72 hours, but I think that 72 hours theory, maybe 144. I've been doing for a while. I'll say I started during November, but then I got distracted, and then I do something else. I think I start August last year, but then I went to work as I go and look for an internship as a web developer. And then I got distracted and stopped learning. Learning is a when you go to work, you at that job, I would say you apply like 20% because they work on different stuff. They work on like WordPress and Shopify, and I'm not technically, and mainly is the front end. Mainly is around layout. How close does it look to the design? Not a whole lot about functionality. So I would say I've been studying the course for around August now to March. August, September, November. What? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think 8. Yeah. So now it's end of March. 3 months plus another 4, so 7 months already.
We put the async keyword before the function, and that sort of enables a feature of the function that allows us to use the await keyword inside of the function anywhere before a method or a function that returns a promise. This will make more sense once we look at the code, so let's go over there. What I've done is taken our project here and I commented everything out except for this handle click function and some of the other pieces that we need for that handle click to actually work in our code. And what we'll do is change this function into an async function and see what that actually looks like. Now, first thing is to notice that this function has kind of 4 different levels of nesting, or rather we indent 4 times in order to access the code we want while still keeping it relatively maintained and clean. We're going to see how that changes with an async function. So the first thing is to put the async keyword before my function. And like I said, that enables us to use the await keyword anywhere before a function or a method that normally returns a promise. So fetch.
So async go before the function, and await go before a method function that return a promise.
Returns a promise, and I mentioned before that we couldn't simply say const data equals fetch. Well, the truth is with async functions, that essentially goes out the window. We can say, and actually what gets returned is a response object. I can say const res, or response, equals await the promise here to be resolved. Before, when we had to tack on a .then resolution block and insert a callback function here, I can just do that on the next line now. I can say const data equals, and I'll use my await keyword again, res.json. This is because res.json returns a promise, so I can use the await keyword before it. Now, it wouldn't make sense to say await something like a console log, because console log does not return a promise. But res.json does, and so I can put await res.json, and on the very next line, I have access to my data as if this were completely synchronous. So I can just move this code up and outdent it 2 levels. No longer need our .then blocks, and you can see now we only have our 2 levels of indentation here. Once you understand await, writing functions like this is such a pleasure. Like I said, there are some caveats that we just aren't going to have time to cover right now, but in the meantime, I want to get your hands on the keyboard as always. So let me comment this function out just for reference in case you need it, and I'm going to uncomment the rest of this so that we have our old code back. Okay, and then I'm going to give you a challenge. And that is just to find any asynchronous operations we have in the code, which honestly there's only 2 of them, but change them to use async await instead of the way that we're currently doing it with the .then promise resolution.
Okay, so this one and this one. So it's async. Alright, change the async operation below to use sync and await. Bum 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 bum. Not this, but this. Async. Cannot do that. Bum 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 bum. Await fetch. Okay, do await. 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 And we do async. Can we run this? Await is only valid in a sync option. Sync. Maybe we need to sync this async. This. And it's not working. Okay, there we go. But what does this need to do? Asynchronous code appear to be synchronous. What asynchronous? Synchronous meaning not with. objective describing object or event that are not coordinated in time. Synchronous. Existing or occurring at the same time. So it's run right away. Assuming.
This first one with handle click should be fairly straightforward.
Okay, so we do rerun. Oh, it's happened right away. But if you remove this and try it, it's still the same now. No ideas.
Forward because it's the exact one we just did. Again, I left it into that variable of the response, and then I can do the exact same thing with res.
We need to wait for this. Okay. Const rest. Respond equal await, then const data equal await.json. So await fetch await.json. We don't need to do .then, right? Const respond here. Okay. Okay, data. I don't think we need this. Not too sure. Do I need this or not?
JSON, since that returns a promise as well. Then I can just take this code and
Oh, we can take the code from here outside, and then we don't need that. That's cool. That's cool. Then we don't need this. Make sure we are not taking up too much. Await data, await res. Const data. No ideas. This is hard.
get rid of these lines, and that's awesome. Much simpler. Okay, the next one was tricky, and I hope it didn't cause
It's
anybody
right
to pull
here.
their hair out or anything.
I know it's right here.
We can see that we have a fetch request right here, but it's important to think, well, what's the function that's actually running this? It may have been tempting to try and put async at the beginning here, but draw card button is not a function that we're defining. And so I can't put async there. However, this kind of hidden arrow inline function right here, anonymous function, this one can be changed to an async function. I don't necessarily have to change this equals this code, clean this up a little bit, get rid of those.
What did he do? So basically clean out this data.res. Async await. Okay, wait. Wow, this is
Nice. And there we go. Now, I had told you ahead of time that there were only 2 of them. This determine card winner function, I'll major up. Welcome to learn more about
same rest doesn't.
async await and start.
We'll
using
skip
it in
this.
the
We'll
code that
skip
we typed
this.
together. So that kind of wraps up our sneak peek of async await. Let's go ahead and take a look back at what we have covered so far in this section.
All right, let's go to our solo project.
Here we are at another solo project, and this one is going to be really fun. You're going to be building a movie watch list. In this one, you'll actually have 2 pages. One will be a search page, and one will be a watch list page. From the search page, you will search for a movie title. This is going to interact with the OMDB, or the Open Movie Database, and it will display all the search results. Then from that search page, you can choose the movie you want to add to your watch list, and on a separate page, after clicking this My Watch List link up here, it will take you to the watch list page, which has a running list of all the items that you've added to your
It's
watch
actually
list.
cool.
You can click the screenshots here to take you to the Figma design file. Of course, that Figma design file will be a great place to see the colors, the fonts, the spacing, the image assets, and everything else. When you get to Figma, you might see...
So let's see. So it's pretty much this is just styling. This part, the search bar, is actually where things start to happen with JavaScript. So we type in, we search. We want to get the search input value, the input value of this input. Then when it clicks search, it starts to fetch the API, and then it's print out is print out of the movie, the title plus the length, drama type, description, all of that. And all of that is going to include a watch list. I want to watch. And then when the user click this, is take all of this and add it to what's inside this. Now that's the hard part. I actually don't know how to do that. Maybe when you click watch list, maybe you wanted to save it to the local storage, and then you take the local storage stuff and then you shove it into this watch list. Might be that, I'm not too sure. Okay, so I will do it. First, I want to complete a few projects that I'm starting and I haven't finished. So